depending on the position, into either the AP build or just the pure dank build.
Ooh.
Either one is fine.
Vayne locked in, ready to go for Jomong. So this is a massive call out. RNG, obviously Uzi, very, very famous for that Vayne pick. That is a WE, I wouldn't even say it was a Jomong pick, realistically. I've seen him play it once or twice, but it's definitely not something I would associate with him. And these are two very different team comps that I didn't realize we were going to get this day.
Yeah, and honestly, Vayne has been a champion that has been slowly creeping up in priority. A lot of times, this is a champion that can just, once she hits level 6, in the Galio and the Camille to follow up as well.
Yeah, a lot of things here, and like, especially when you're looking at things like the final hour, being able to get those resets on the invisibility, in the tumbles, you have so many ways of kind of like evading, or if you can play the champion correctly, of course, and we've seen many examples throughout the years of absolutely insane Vayne mechanics coming out from the LPL, but Jomong needs to kind of live up to that legacy, I feel. It feels like something that, you know, we haven't really seen from him at all, and didn't really have a great game in himself personally in that first game of the day, so I'm curious to see how it will happen in this next one. But we are onto the Rift. Everything's set up now. WE versus RNG. Looking at these two compositions, who are you favoring?
Right now, I do like WE's comp a little bit more. I think the idea behind it is a bit more solid. You have a catch composition. You have very easy CC engage to power up Beishang. And Jomong's Vayne pick, honestly, it's just about the protection for herself. She can self-peel. She doesn't need anyone around her. She can go invisible. And the rest of the team can continuously chase forward.
And again, we're seeing a Lilia into this kind of you know, Galio kind of combination. Yes, you have the Renekton to kind of deal with that, but overall, you still have a lot of magic damage that will be negated. It is the Gargus top, as you said, going into that top lane against the Camille. Very, very popular in solo queue, as you have mentioned, but overall, this is a very mid-game kind of pick focus coming out from the side of RNG. They've got the, you know, the Rakan, the Gragas, the Renekton, a lot of ways of kind of building off of those one-item power spikes. If it goes any later than that, or if they don't get ahead enough from it, it can get a little dicey for them in those mid to late game skirmishes.
Yeah, I think RNG is running a composition that does get outscaled, but wait a minute, we have a right ahead, level 1, go all in, and Jomong taking the brunt of that damage.
Yeah, Jomong just not really kind of positioning himself. Neither was missing either as well. They're going to force to use the full heal as well. That is a huge summoner burn so early, and Gala and Ming are just sitting pretty in this lane. No jungler assistance required. They are just able to force this Vayne off, and this is kind of a big issue you get when you have a Vayne. Vayne is great in the late game, but has always struggled in this early game, especially against something like a Rakan.
I don't think it's necessarily the matchup, but the warding from RNG really paid off there. They were able to pincer Missing and Jomong as they walked into lane from River, and they got a lot of extra damage off of that one. And also to mention that Rakan has one of the highest attack damage base attacks at the start of the game. So when you're trading level 1 like that, most of the time you are going to come out ahead. However, I do want to mention that we have seen Vayne pick specifically into Kai'Sa as a bit of a counter pick. You can chase up on her fairly well, and let's see if Beishang can find this kill.
Oh, well, Xiaohu is walking the wrong way right now. He needs to try and find himself out of here, and oh, gets caught up, and that is first blood going to Team WE. Nicely done.
The minion block. That's so sad. Xiaohu probably knew he was dead there, so it wasn't likely to flash either way, but running into that minion and going into Talia's combo, oh man, that's gotta hurt.
It's a bit of a feels bad, man, if we're being totally honest about it. But overall, you're going to have to try and, you know, pick you're a big boy now. You got to pick yourself up, go back into that lane, and really try and make that work for you right now, as Beishang is still hovering around, has got blue and red buff, so should be able to kind of sustain back up the mana lost. And maybe look for a little bit more. No, never mind. He's going to keep farming these camps.
Both of these teams are trading sides at this point, and that does slightly favor RNG, I think, because WE's bot lane has to play very, very careful at this juncture. They're already down summoners, and pushing up like this, they basically have to take trades if Gala walks up to them. Like, they can't really stay in this position, so we're seeing them just drift away from the lane and try to extend their vision radius.
See if they can get any more information. Like you said, get their vision radius down, any kind of information at all. But Beishang, perfectly positioned, does force the flash out of Cryan. Might have to force his own flash now. Yes, he does. Just get that perfectly over the wall. Trades 1 for 1 overall. It won't be too dissatisfied with that, as the Renekton does have to go back to base.
That was a pretty good side set from both players right there. Beishang getting out of tower vision and Cryan getting out of the combo from Talia. So, you know, both walk away, I would say, somewhat satisfied with their with what they've accomplished. Going back to the solo lanes, however, I do have to point out RNG's solo lanes don't actually scale that well. Gragas doesn't die, but he also doesn't do much. Like, he's actually a very difficult champion to use. Your Q and your W are not that impactful in teamfights whatsoever. So he's just kind of a meat shield that stands there. And Renekton is sort of the same thing. Renekton is a champion that always had pretty poor late game scalings. So I would say the onus is on RNG in the early to mid games to do something with their tools and to find those picks before WE does.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the key with Gragas is that you used to be able to kind of flash body slam and then put out the explosive cast immediately. There is unfortunately a hell of a delay on that now. So you haven't got that luxury. You almost need to kind of throw out the explosive cast as you're flashing so you don't get, you know, kind of caught up with it as such. But this dragon is being taken right now by the side of RNG. They're kind of coasting themselves into this, you know, kind of pit. They should be able to take it pretty easily. As I say that, the smite does come down. The Galio is going to force absolutely everybody's smite out of here, and they're going to flash all the way out of the pit, but everyone from the side of WE follows up. Kaiser will pick up a kill on the Alistar, but it's 2 for 1. You get the dragon, but it costs you a couple of kills.
Yeah, and that play was really showcasing the difference between teleports coming in from the top lane. Breathe was able to hold on to his. It's a 5v4, and after those 3 flashes were expended, getting over the dragon wall, there was nothing to prevent the Camille from chasing them all down. So even though the Drake goes to RNG, I would call that a sizable win for WE.
Definitely a little bit more of an advantage going over. You get the immediate gold. It's kind of, it's what I would call an advantage now versus an advantage later. Obviously, we can see the kind of smite coming in there very, very late, almost a bit too late. As they just kind of go in for the fight, and again, it's just WE kind of chasing them down.
Yeah, nothing really much to see here. Good play there on Wade, getting the kill on the Alistar over the wall to equalize things a little bit more. However, that was still 3 kills down, and most of the flashes gone from the likes of Gala, Crying, and even Ming. So, you know, there was a lot expended right there just for that single Drake. And just to remind everyone, the way I'm looking at this, RNG does need to find their advantages in the early game. So without those summoners, that's going to delay their clock.
Yeah, big delay on that as well. As you can see, that pink ward very nicely positioned. Does spot Jomon going down towards this bot side. He is about 20 CS down. This is an unfortunate place for the wave as well, as it is very much caught right at the worst part of the lane. It's not quite at the turret, so it can't really reset. You can't really walk up, because if the jungler comes down, which as you can see is walking towards that bot side, you are in a hell of a lot of trouble. So a lot to think about here for Team WE, and they're probably just going to have to give up a hell of a lot of CS, and Jomong's struggling again in this bot side.
And we do have to remind everyone, this is because at the start of the game, RNG played a split map. Their Lilia was on the bottom side of the map for most of the time and just controlling this bot lane. This is a very common strategy that we have seen RNG employ in the past when they had Uzi on the team. So they definitely understand how to hold these chokeholds on the bot lane and grow the CS lead.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is the advantage you kind of wanted to see from RNG. This is where you wanted to see them kind of making their kind of like home, as you will, is getting those small little lane advantages in the early game. Maybe you just kind of capitalize on it. And Wei has been very, very solid with these kind of early objective starts. Just trying to make sure that he's able to kind of get as much as he possibly can. But the side of WE are not too keen on letting them take another objective for free. They've got ultimates available across the board, and there's going to be a full 5v5, actually 4v5, because the Vayne is very, very far away from this. The Rift Herald will be taking, they will pop down the ultimates and try and get as much as they possibly can. They're trying to get the Shanks down, and the Galio will fall. They get themselves a Rift Herald. They get 1 kill. Hextech Ultimate on the explosive cast to try and knock Beishang away. I really like that play. Wei will just about go down because of the ignite, but the Alistair trades his life for it, and now the Kaiser can go in onto the backside. Ming just being a nuisance with the quickness, and they get the Vayne as well. Gala is absolutely massive. That was such a weird fight, but great little small plays to keep RNG in it.
That fight was super forced from the perspective of WE. Their jungler and their AD carry were rotating late towards this Herald, so the Herald is already gone before they even set foot in the river, and W were only looking for exit kills right there. A bit of a weird situation to put yourselves in when you're already late on the rotation. And just looking at this, they didn't have a good angle into the bot lane. Gala was completely untouched throughout most of this fight. Very good tanking from Crying. He's just going up and soaking up all the damage. And also a very cheeky ultimate coming out from Shahu, dispositioning the Taliyah, so Beishang could not get his full damage combo. And unfortunate for Jomong, still not having good positioning in these teamfights, gets taken out right at the start.
Oh, they want to take down that Kaiser. That is a full shutdown going on over to the Taliyah, so they make up for some past blunders. They will not be able to catch out Shanks either, so overall, WE, they expend a lot of globals, but they get themselves their man. It looks like they're going to try and maybe push for something on top of the bot lane, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything else.
Oh, excuse me.
It's all right. You're very excused.
Thank you. Big shutdown. I think going down, unfortunately, to Alistar? Oh, no. Alistar already got his kill, so it was the Taliyah. Still worth it.
Well, the Lilting Lullaby goes down. I think Breathe is pretty safe here if he plays it properly. As I say that, the flash in, the ticking is down, but there's a health pot going. The corrupting pot keeps him alive. That is a burnt flash, well judged by Breath. And that is just a small, unfortunate little blunder from the side away, and he will not have his flash up for this potential dragon fight.
Yeah, that was very close to a kill. I believe the tactical sweep did manage to get the heal back out, and they find a combo onto Ming.
Beishang keeps going. Quickness has been used, as has the flash. They will get the knock up with the grand entrance as well, and Crying picks himself up the prize. Missing has to use the Unbreakable Will, but he is being shredded down by the true damage. There's the shotgun forcing the flash out of Missing, and now RNG, they're the ones in the position to be able to try and go for this one. Now they're going to try and full-on dive this. It looks like a little bit of an overextension, I feel. They're going to try and jump in. They will just delete Shanks, Hextech Ultimatum, and the Explosive Cast, both used almost simultaneously. But it is in the end RNG who pick up the kills. They drop the Rift Herald. They will be able to pick up so much gold from this as well with the third place, and they'll be able to pick up their second dragon of the game.
This is just beautiful team fighting from RNG. They're playing with the tools that they're most familiar with. The Ming on Rakan, and also the Gragas, which was a very common pick in their heydays, both at the jungle position and at the top lane position, and even sometimes mid lane. So they're really in their comfort zone, and with the rotational advantages, they know exactly how far they can chase, how deep they can chase, and they find so many kills off of that one. Like we were talking about, Camille was chased home. She couldn't enter the fight necessarily, and WE, I feel, based on overextended by going down into the river after finding only the one combo on the support. That was not enough for him to commit himself.
WE, again, like you said, just kind of over-forcing these issues, really trying to go for it. You don't really have the options to kind of do it. Just give it up. Let them have those small advantages so you don't give away bigger advantages. Now you're down 2 dragons, you're down a couple of thousand gold, and you're not really gaining anything anywhere else across the map. Yes, your Camille is looking very, very good, but there's only so much that Breathe could do, especially as a Camille who's a little late to the party.
Yeah, right now the Camille is just trying to be the best split pushing carry that she can be, try to divert attention away from RNG members and hopefully not let them group up to find those engages like we saw they're doing. However, RNG is playing very, very well with their tempo. They had a deep chase, they had the correct lane allocation, and it does look like that they will be able to take this turret down before W has a say in the bot lane.
Yeah, full plates as well. They will have plenty of turret time with this. And then you can see WE, they're kind of flailing a little bit, not really sure where they need to be. They have 3 people in the mid lane, but that's a Gragas or Renekton. Very, very difficult for you to kind of go for that. Jomong is being gifted a hell of a lot of CS in the bot side. As I say that, though, Missing is going to try and make something happen with his Hex Flash. They use the Explosive Cast as well. Hex Ultimatum comes down. They're going to try and commit everything for this 1 kill onto Cryan, who will eventually fall. But you're not gaining any kind of map pressure. That's 1 kill. That's 300 gold. Whereas nearly 1,000 gold in turret plates. It's just gone onto the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it's going to be a tower for tower trade, but W do find the kill right there. Whether it's worth it or not, to me, really comes down to summoner usage. And thankfully for W, they actually didn't burn any summoners right there. So as long as they can take the bot lane tower, that play mid was actually fine.
See how they kind of go for it. As I said, it's all about if they use those summoners by the time the RNG summoners do come back out. So overall, you can still kind of maybe find a silver lining in it, but it feels like they're playing reactive rather than...
It's super forced.
Yeah,
it feels very forced and could have gone very, very wrong.
Absolutely.
Let's put it that way.
If an explosive cast hits the explosive cat, that sounds a bit worse. Explosive cast hits someone like, you know, off to the side, they don't get the right person tanking. That dive just goes incorrectly. And they kind of, you know, they don't really gain anything from it. Now, it did go well, but they're losing more and more because they have to take a little bit extra time to get those advantages, which means they can't get back onto the Rift to contest for this Rift Herald, which is more pressure going in favor of RNG. RNG looking, again, similar to Game 1 today, very, very good in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, and this is what we've expected of RNG when they pull out their full roster and they play on all of these comfort picks that they're very familiar with.
Oh, they're going to go
straight
onto a Ming. Will use the quickness. He will not be able to get the last tick of damage as a heal from Gala, able to keep his support alive. Nicely tried out there by WE. They will burn themselves the quickness as well, so there's no real pick potential coming out from the side of the Rakan until that is back up and online. As you can see now, more and more damage and more kind of items being picked up for the side of RNG, and they're really looking to go for that full damage Gragas from what I can tell at the moment, picking up that Hex Tech Rocket Belt.
Yep, coming in and just trying to push the front line forward a little bit. That was very unfortunate. They couldn't get the trample tick down from Missing to actually finish the kill there. However, they do get I believe, Ming's ultimate in that exchange, so they're going to be looking at this next Drake. It's very close, but I think maybe they will have Ming without ult.
Xiaohu, he's not very tanky. We talked about just there how he has only got a little bit of AP, has to use it to try and just escape, but the Weaver's Wall will come out. Great explosive cast, but the Hextech Ultimatum is just too damn quick. Xiaohu, though, doesn't really go down just yet. He takes a little bit of extra time. The TP came in onto Cryan. He's out. A great hook shot means he's out, and the Lilia is dead. WE spring to life, pick up 2 kills, and they may be looking to try and just turn this into a dragon, maybe even push into top lane.
Oh, that was an amazing flash to follow onto Xiaohu. You know, Xiaohu had a perfect combo ready. He flashed over the wall, had the explosive cast to blow people away, but very good sequence by Breathe right there, is able to just use the Hextech Ultimatum to keep up onto his target and find the kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't really fault Xiaohu there. Xiaohu played that as mechanically well as he possibly could. Literally got the explosive cast off perfectly to stop the Taliyah from coming in. Able to flash over the wall with the body slam, but it was just a literal pixel perfect Hextech Ultimatum from Breathe. And now we can see now maybe RNG try to sneak themselves a dragon. Alistair did go back, so Missing is not here for this fight just yet. It's a 5v4 for the next 20 or so seconds. They need to be very careful, though, on the side of RNG. You do not want to tank this dragon for too long. They don't think they have enough damage. They're going to try and go in. On top of it, it will go over to RNG. They're now on soul point, but now the fight has ensued. Ming is ticking down. He's on absolutely nothing, but he stays alive. Great grand entrance from the Agalio. Keeps everyone in his team nice and healthy. They pick themselves up a quick kill, but they have nothing else to go for it. RNG, they lose one, but they lose 2, but they end up getting themselves onto soul point, so it's huge for them.
Yeah, critically, a lot of these long ultimates from RNG were not up in that team fight, so they had a very difficult exit from that. They pretty much had to force away the members from W, and W are coming back for more.
Yeah, they're looking for it, but Gala is very, very big, has got that collector. You go down a little bit more Missing, and you're going to find yourself back on a gray screen. You need to back yourself up, buddy, as he does so there. And I will say all the kills are going onto this Camille and Talia combo, but like you can see here, they're just a little late to the dragon fight, but they're still able to make it work for them.
Yeah, the only big ultimate here up is Ming, so he has to use himself to get the rest of his team members out, and unfortunately the exit was cut short by Shanks. He's able to find a great hero's entrance into the midst of RNG and find those extra 2 kills there. About as well as you could have played it from RNG's perspective, and they know they're on the clock, so that's why they're rushing so hard. They're willing to give up kills for this type of a play.
Yep, your kind of win condition then becomes an Elder Drake at about 30 minutes, but we can actually see Beishang. They're going to try and go for it. Missing jumps in with the Hex Flash. They've got the Camille on the backside. Wei is down. They're going to try and jump in with the Hexac Ultimatum, but a huge shutdown as the shotgun comes in. That's the Kai'Sa picking up 2 kills. Kai'Sa maybe going to go for more. Gets herself a triple kill. It's going to be Jomung just trying to get more. It's a quadra kill for Gala, and RNG are right back in this.
A bit of a failed engage right there. WWE probably expected less people than they found in that one. And the key for me was just the separation between the front line and the back line. Camille dies very early into that fight. The Galio wasn't able to hover over, I believe, Beishang, and Gala goes in and is able to chase out the Talia there in the fight as well. So it all goes a little bit wrong. Too much expended too early on in the fight for WWE and not enough found.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at Shanks and Beishang, they both have their ultimates. The Grand Entrance, or sorry, the Hero's Entrance, and of course the Weaver's Wall, both available. Those are 2 massive ultimates that let you control the fight. But let's have a look at how it all started.
Yeah, Ming does a very good job at playing the counter engage, and we can see Shanks already very low health before he goes in, and then Camille goes in. So the timing on the sequencing was a little bit wrong, and there was so much crowd control that Jomung actually did get a lot of damage off, and even wastes multiple auto attacks on the minion. So that was a little bit of a poor mechanical play there.
Yeah, bit of a faux pas if we're going to be nice about it, and it's kind of night and day looking at these 280 carries. You look at Gala, the perfect timing, realized with the absolutely, inch perfect explosive cast, was able to find himself a position where he was between all the different tanks, able to do damage into the back line, but still very, very safe because he had that stopwatch. He's now sitting on 3 items versus the 1.5 for the side of Jomung. He's 50 CS up. He's got himself 8 kills. This Kai'Sa's at the late game right now, and this is a very scary prospect for Team WE because you were kind of banking on your late game, but the Kai'Sa's already there.
A lot of Uzi fans right now are screaming poetic justice. You don't pick Vayne against RNG and get away with it.
And they're going to be able to shred this. This is so much damage right now. You've got a Renekton and a Lilith with combo with that thing, but here's the Weaver's Wall to try and separate everybody out. But it's only Missing and Beishang who are the ones who are actually separated. They have to back that one off again, and they're straight back on it.
Yeah, that was pretty good from WE. They actually did manage to get the Baron to reset, so they're going to have another go at this one. Beishang does have his flash, so potential still coming in.
Not going to happen, though. Hexac Ultimatum comes down as they're going to try and pile them in. The Kai'Sa's dead. The President is down. So is the Lily of the Rakan, the Renekton, and everyone has just fallen. You get the Baron, but you get to keep none of it. It's going to be RNG losing everything as Team WE now barrel down this mid lane.
Oh, another murder by Baron. RNG fans all over the world, they have their hearts broken. Another comeback win from the opposing team. What happened right there was that they were all locked into the pit with Baron, and with the magic resistance completely shredded, it was just a playground for Shanks and for Beishang to come in and finish off the kills. Very unfortunate also that Xiaohu was not able to create separation between Jomung and the rest of the team. He actually only hit Jomung with his ultimate, and he knocked Jomung forward. So Jomung was, okay, I'll just stand my ground and keep on shooting you down. So everything going wrong on that fight.
And you can see it here, like they go for the Baron, they fully commit for it, but Xiaohu, he's trying to play bodyguard, but he's just not able to separate anybody, like you said.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wasted ultimate, and a much better attempt on Camille and Galio's side. The tried and true cannonball composition against all of those magic resist shredded targets. That was just easy pickings.
And all of a sudden, I was shouting the praises of Gala and how, Jomung has really not had a good game today, or, in the previous one at all. He's now on 2 items. He's got the Guinzoos. He's got himself a hell of a lot more damage and a lot more kind of sustain in these team fights. it's going to become harder now for the side of RNG because you had the advantages. You got what you needed to get, but now you're kind of falling back again. You're behind in gold. You have to reset the dragon timer one more time, which is only going to give WE a little bit more leeway going into these fights. So overall, RNG, it was a great call in terms of what they wanted to do. The execution just wasn't there. And now he's caught between a rock and a hard play. Xiaohu forced to flash away. Otherwise, that seismic shove was going to knock him into a gray screen. But Jomung is left by himself. Oh, that was so well played. He keeps himself alive, but just barely. They have to use so much on top of him. They end up trading 1-for-1. Gala's kind of in between no man's land. He doesn't really know where to go. The TP comes in from Xiaohu. They're going to have the ultimate coming in now. Hextech ultimate used. They're going to jump it straight in with the Galio as well. The Kaiser is dead. The Camille is dead now as well. Shanks and Beishang need to back away. They do not have the mana bars for this. Very scrappy fights happening all aboard the entire game. And right now, RNG, they're kind of coming out ahead a little bit.
Yeah, that was definitely a one fight on RNG's part. They trade 2 for 3 right there. And crucially, they burn most of these summoners down. So in the next fight with Xiaohu and his explosive cast, they could definitely make a play for Dragon Soul and claw their way back into this engagement. However, let's take a closer look at this one. It's basically Ming spotting out Jomung. Jomung has perfect reactions here, but he can't alone fight off the 4-man stack onto himself. Does fall down, and Beishang unable to find the trade back kill onto Gala. It does take Breathe to come in here, but Breathe actually misses, unable to land the hook shot. You do get the target indicator throughout the wall, but very good reaction on Gala. That was Gala outplaying the hook shot incoming from Breathe.
Yeah, and just gave him enough time in the end there, and we can see there Gala 10-4-4, literally half an item away before he is full build. The dragon won't be spawning for a very long time, so they still have no real kind of, neutral objective to kind of go for. But it is RNG pushing forward, prodding, seeing if they can find anyone out of position. Again, Jomung was the person who got caught out the first time, and now we're going to see if they can try and find someone else.
Yep, and I think W is pretty much going to concede the map until they absolutely have to head towards this this Drake at this point. They're going to have Camille in the top side, just pushing, getting a little bit more items. And at this point, the 80 carry difference is so large is that if they run into a front-to-back team fight and they don't snipe out Gala, it's going to be fairly one-sided in RNG's favor. Really what RNG have to do is just create separation for Gala, make sure that Camille isn't sticking onto her, and they should be able to win the 5v5.
Overall, is a very close game, and you can see WE, they just don't want to move forward right now because they know that Jomung, unfortunately for his team, is a little bit of a liability as he is just so far behind. He's had to build into a QSS as well just to try and keep himself alive, so he has just not really got the damage to be pumping this one out. As we can see, they jump straight in on top of them, and they're going to have to force the stopwatch out as well. There's Shanks going in with the Grand Entrance, and they just find the Talia and burst him down. They're trying to do as much as they possibly can. Jomung not really able to do anything. RNG looking like they might be able to just take this fight. Jomung is there. He's trying to fight him back. He's kiting. He will be able to pick up one, but not before he loses his life. It's only Shanks left who has to flash away. He's the lone man standing against a 4-man strong RNG. They are knocking on the base. They're going to be able to take themselves an inhibitor. Probably go for the win here. It might be a little close, though.
That Swirl Seed into the Killer Instinct combo was something that I have not seen before. It doesn't really happen because it's actually very difficult to tag people with the Swirl Seed, but RNG did make it work right there. The Lilia finds the sleep, gives that plasma charge for Gala to fly in, and they're able to snipe out Beishang at the start of this fight. Unfortunately for them, the Drake isn't really up yet right now, so it looks like they are going to choose the Baron over the Drake to complete this team fight.
Yep, you go for the Baron. Yes, you get the Drake on the side of TWE. You reset the timer, but right now RNG are going to look to try and end this game with this push. I feel like this is kind of their last chance saloon as they go for this. As I say that, though, Missing is here. They may just try and go.
There's no way, right? There's no way.
There's no. He could have. There was no way there. There was no smite, and it did go down to about 200 HP, but I feel like Missing felt like it was a one-way trip, and it was definitely no guarantee of coming out with any comeuppance. So overall, you trade the Baron, you get the Dragon, you've delayed the Dragon Spike once again, but however, now you're looking at a 6 item Kaiser coming in with a Baron buff at 28 minutes. I feel like RNG need to win the game with this next push right now because, again, the longer this game goes on, this Kaiser's not getting any bigger. She's as big as she's going to get.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to pin her down, though, especially with the GA. Even if she falls down once, I don't think Breathe is going to be alive to finish up the ordeal. So it's very difficult to see how WE actually managed to find this teamfight win in this situation. They don't have enough backline threat, and it pretty much is going to come down to Beishang maybe sniping off a target before anything happens. And just like we were talking about, it happens.
Yeah,
Ming dies out of nowhere.
Ming just gets caught, I guess, and just that's the end of it. And that's going to delay this Baron push completely. This is exactly what you want if you're a fan of Team WE, and a heartbreak again if you're on the side of Team RNG, because you just have to waste your Baron now. You have no real engage. You haven't got that kind of consistent safety for your Kaiser, so you just have to let this happen, and that's the end of it. That's so sad.
I just want to see who assisted Galio securing the kill, because I don't think Shanks at this point does have enough burst to actually one-shot Ming. So very curious on what happened. Most likely just walking into Beishang was finished the deal there.
Yeah, I feel like we will get a replay of that very, very soon. Here it comes in here, and it's just missing in Beishang with Shanks. That's all it was. It was straight up catch.
Oh, that was very unfortunate. It is going to waste away a lot of this Baron buff incoming from RNG. And, you know, if I'm RNG, I don't really want to be continuing these team fights at this point. You see the Vayne is slowly building up onto her items. Most likely going to go for a Wit's End to kind of compensate for the damage that is coming out from Xiaohu and Lilia at this point.
Oh, we can see now RNG will pick up one of the turrets up on the top side, still pushing in. Mid lane tier 1, or sorry, mid lane inhibitor is still down, but Missing is behind enemy lines. Swirl Seed does land, but now they know where Missing is. Do they look for the fight? Looks like Missing really wants to go for it. There's the Weaver's Wall to try and separate absolutely everybody around. They do break the inhibitor, but they're trying to go for the Renekton straight off the bat. The Hextech ultimate comes down. The Camille has to fall. The Renekton's still alive, though, and Xiaohu jumps straight in. There's 4 quick kills, as quick as you like. Beishang, it's all on you, but these health bars are too damn healthy. They've still got themselves 15 or so seconds of this Baron buff, and they're going to be able to use that to end this game. RNG will pick up the win.
Congratulations to RNG, winning with the composition that they're very, very comfortable with, getting control of the Baron. And, you know, in the final team fight, it's just near impossible to burst out.
They can just win their next 2 games, which they have to play against CMG, and they have to play against Team WE. So Team WE need to play spoiler there in order to force a tiebreaker. So that game is so, so important. But honestly, right now, like RNG, like this game was a bit of a rock, you know, kind of, as I say, a roller coaster up and down, and that was totally, you know, how they wanted to play it. But Gala played so damn well. I really feel like we're kind of seeing a